Manchester United, the Christmas Tale, 2024. First and foremost, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Mick Ruby and Mufc RealistTV. This is the biggest club in the world, the biggest family in the world. And what we're going to do as a big family and community is to share the joy, but also the festive season around Manchester United. This is a tale of Manchester United, transfers, the debris, the Grinch, the Glazers, and the hope where we are standing today, looking to become champions again. Are you ready? Light the candle and let us get into the Christmas spirit together. Merry Christmas, everyone. As for me, for many, Christmas is about family. It's about associating with mince pies, turkey trees, presents, spending with your loved ones. And also a reminder for those who are less unfortunate, they probably don't have families or, not as well off. But still, if you are a Manchester United fan, no matter where you are, rich, poor, we're all wearing the same red shirt and the crest, and we are the biggest family in the world. So why not share this moment for the lesser fortune? It means so much for me to sit here and talk to you about that, over Christmas, it's not always about family. It's not always about, gifts. It's about giving. Manchester United is a club that always gives. As fellow Red, I share my deep passion through my history of growing up with United. Looking back and all the way from Sir Alex Ferguson, way from Busby Babes, where Manchester United was a peak of the powers, winning Champions League trebles. We were unstoppable, going head-to-head against Arsenal, the Invincibles. But unfortunately, the Scrooge in this story, if we go back in the review mirror, past 18 years, has been the Glazers, running the club to the ground, not really understanding, running the legacy of the club down the drain. As well, Ruben Amorim just came in to say that Manchester United is the biggest club in the world, but unfortunately not longer the biggest team in the world. And this saddens me in my way. The Glazers that took over the Takeover 18 years ago haven't really cared about Old Trafford, haven't really, invested one single bit into the stadium and just let the old lady rust into the facts that we have leaking roofs and mice infested running around. And then we have to go back and look into the glimmer of hope. We thought the Santa Claus came early when the Glazers actually went on through a strategical review to put the club for sale. You see, over the years, the Glazers never spent their own money. Instead, they put a pile of debts to the club and took dividends out, taking money out of the club to their own pockets, leaving United, the once biggest club in the world, in an estimated of 1 billion in debt. And at the moment, the Glazers went broke. They needed to go for a strategical review. Two bidders came around. The knights in shining armor. We thought, wow, Christmas is coming early. That was last year. And that Thanksgiving, when Avram Glazer announced that they're going to do a strategic review. It was a lengthy process that took almost 12 months to complete. There was the Qatari. They offered the full package, cleaning the debt and take Manchester United to the top again. And there was Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe. That were claimed to be a long-time boyhood Manchester United fan, although he had Chelsea season tickets. We all know how it went down. Sir Jim Ratcliffe won the bid on 25%, which is now risen to 28% almost, as a part-time owner in handling the footballing operation. We fans, we thought, okay, well, he looks like the guy in, red and white that supports the team. He's a Man United fan. And he started his journey appointing the best in-class people. No longer were the Glazers in charge. He made sure that the Glazers were not taking any dividends out. But still, there was a lot of questions asked. Is he the guy that's going to take Manchester United back to the top? Well, this is the review after 1 year almost. under the Ineos and Ratcliffe's ownership. Is he the Ebenezer Scrooge at the moment? Why are we saying so? Of course, there's a new footballing structure in place. We recruited in a new, first time ever, a sporting director, a new CEO in Omar Barada. We chased Newcastle's Dan Ashford for 5 months almost. We got them over the line. We paid money for them. And then after only a couple of weeks into his job, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the Scrooge himself, fired him. That left a lot of question marks about Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Is he Scrooge? Is he pinching for every single penny? The fact is that, of course, we had a manager called Erik ten Hag that they did a strategical review over, and they decided that they're going to keep the manager. Also, rigged a little bit of incompetent, but also backing, because Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the new custodian of Manchester United, said that, we have to have patience as fans. Things will not happen of a switch of a light bulb, which is in a way true. But what was the true intent? This was all PR to sell the dream of his vanity project? Or was it a venture capital because he's in a rush to invest money? Now, you can also look at nobody just throws the money away without expecting anything back, which is called return on investment. And we can arguably say, to look back in the review mirror now, reviewing Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos ownership has been a little bit of a hit and miss. The reason why I call him Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, is because he's been penny pitching. And why is it so? Because Glazers in the 18 years has been destroying this club, taking money out, leaving the club in a very bad financial situation. It's almost rest in peace. We have debts piling up to 1 billion. We own transfer fees of almost $500 million to other clubs because we did never pay upfront. We just took credit card loans from Santander banks, Bank of America, and all that stuff. And that is the sad part of the story of the Christmas tale of Manchester United, that we still have the debt, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is being the Scrooge. The firing of Dan Ashwood, the firing of Erik ten Hag could have been avoided. There was a growing fear that, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, if you really love this club, you appointed Omar Barada, the best-in-class footballing operation people. What are you going to do with the manager, Erik ten Hag? Well, we all know the story. They kept Erik ten Hag despite winning the FA Cup over Manchester City. Was a tremendous effort. Nobody expected us to win against City in the FA Cup final. Everyone, which is the biggest family in the history of football, Manchester United, went on a forensic status. We went on cloud 7. We just won under all odds, finishing 8th on that season, winning an FA Cup, beating the champions of Europe and the, treble winners, Manchester City. So therefore, the Scrooge in this story still remained that they went to speak to other managers and never appointed any other manager to say, we're sticking to Erik ten Hag. And lo and behold, few games into this season, they sacked Erik ten Hag and appointed Ruben Amorim. Okay, so Ruben Amorim again seems to be the chosen one. He is kind of a little bit of a messiah in this story, but he said, Ruben, we need to suffer, because this is not my players. These 18 years that needs to be undone. This player power conduct needs to go away. And so far, Ruben is doing a great job. There's this story of debacle about, the Mexican standout with Marcus Rashford, which is apparently, what Ruben was saying, influenced by third parties, which is Marcus' entourage and agents, advising, forcing a move from Manchester United. Regarding Marcus Rashford, the club kind of made him the monster that he is today. They gave him the bumper contract. So the previous regime is to blame in this story as well. But there is always a glimmer of hope in terms of moving forward with the cringe. Every Christmas story has a cringe in Scrooge. Is Sir Jim Ratcliffe the savior, or is he the Scrooge? Well, let us just take us back. Sir Jim Ratcliffe decided to take away the salary of Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest man ever lived, the greatest manager ever managed a football club, the greatest Manchester United manager of all time, decided to cut his wages of 2 million to cut costs and corners, and just to keep him there. They say, okay, Sir Alex, you're a legend. You can still come. You don't need more money. You can still come and stand and look pretty for the props. And that was step number one in the Ebenezer Scrooge story. Number two, the history of Manchester United with the Busby Babe and the Munich air disaster. The survivors of the air disaster has always been given tickets to go and see Manchester United. This Sir Jim Ratcliffe tried to take away as well, Scrooge, but failed. Then it was also the ticketing price hike without even advising the Man United Supporter Trust. All of a sudden, a price hike on $66 per ticket with no concession, meaning all children and pensioner needs to pay. Scrooge again. Then it was the Christmas party slashed. Then it was also the cutting down of 200 staff members around Mayfair and Carrington, losing their jobs. Scrooge. And regarding the Christmas bonuses, instead of getting a £100 Christmas bonus, what they always been getting, they got a voucher of £40. And potentially that voucher comes from sponsors, so no money to be spent. Scrooge. So you see my point, what I'm trying to say. Who is the Grinch and Scrooge in this story? We always said when we had a takeover, the proof wouldn't be in the pudding. Now Manchester United are currently sitting 13th. We got the Ruben Amorim in through the door, and Ruben is suffering. He's looking at these players, a calamity of players that have been collected from 5 different managers, and trying to make a Christmas meal out of it. Who's the ham, who's the turkey, who's the pie? We know that certain players don't fit in the system, but we also know that in order to support Ruben, who came in to change the entire identity of the style to play a 3-4-3 system, we need to get rid of certain players. But there is no money in the January window. Now, the latest reports have come out today that there is a potential move for Marcus Rashford for Victor Osimhen, a swap deal. That is exciting. That means that Manchester United don't have to do any transactions in between if it's a like-for-like evaluation. Napoli wants to get rid of Osimhen. United needs to get rid of Marcus Rashford. United need a striker. We don't have good enough strikers. Marcus Rashford is causing problems. Rasmus Højlund is young and still learning. So we need a prolific goal scorer because we are lacking firepower. And this is a very difficult deal because apparently, according to tweets and reports saying that Osimhen and his agent wants to go to Manchester United in personal terms would not be a problem. But the problem is that both clubs in Napoli and Manchester United has to agree on like-for-like evaluation. Napoli wants £60 million, and his Rashford is worth £60 million. But the problem is that both players needs to want to go to each club's address. Now, will Marcus Rashford want to go to Napoli, or is he brother and agent Scrooge again advising him, you're bigger than this? Nobody's bigger than the club, So it's all down to Marcus Rashford if he wants to go and play for Napoli, or does he think that he's bigger than that he can go to play for Barcelona? So to do that in January will be very, very difficult. But if that happens, Santa comes early in this story. Now, of course, Christmas for me, it's always to give hope. I know where we are now, but Ruben Amorim saying we need to suffer. I know that we have implemented a new style of play, a new system, which certain players are trying to adapt. The shining, sparkling light, the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in this team has been Amad Diallo, 100%. Ahmad is leading the line, showing the examples like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer does. You know, he's been showing that, yo, I can fight, I can show. You give me a chance and I will prove myself. I will lead the way. And this is Ahmad, the Red-Nosed Reindeer in this Christmas story. For me, Christmas has always given me hope. And I know that if you look back on these 18 years, it's been misery. But this Christmas tales gives me hope that we are on the right track. It might be so that Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is being Scrooge at the moment, but these are necessary measures to do based on what's been done for the 18 years and how the Glazers have destroyed the club. A lot of fans were looking to play just before Christmas, to play a game at Old Trafford against Bournemouth. We know the story, we got beaten. And I keep saying, well, if Manchester United ruined your Christmas, always remind yourself who ruined Manchester United for the past 18 years. There's a glimmer of hope that we will return back to winning ways. But with that, we need to have a little bit more patience. Let Ruben Amorim expose these players, and hopefully the Scrooge, the Ineos, who picked Ruben Amorim will back his man. Where will we get the money from in the January transfer window? Nobody knows. But all we can say is that in summer, Ruben will get his Christmas gift. A little bit delayed, potentially, in the transfer window. This has been Mick Ruby from Mufc RealistTV with a short Christmas tale. And hopefully you enjoyed this season review the way I see it. But as per usual, I want to hear your thoughts and feelings. What are you doing on Christmas? And how do you see Man United's year so far? Is there a glimmer of hope? Will Ruben be the one that takes us to the promised land? Thank you for watching, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you. From me to you, from MUFC Realistic Community, for you and your loved ones, Merry, Merry Christmas. God bless.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.